Come let us hear you tell how you slander great Parnell. When you talk them well and truly persecuted, what are the sneers and jeers that you loudly let us hear when our leaders of 16th were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show you white value and medals down and flat.
Brian, why KBC here today?
Their behaviour since the outset of this crisis has been absolutely horrific. What they did to people they started off, and then they moved to a place where they're overcharging, whether it's trackers or variable rate mortgages, which is fraud and embezzlement. And then the final straw for us was the manner that they did a family home eviction in Cork, where they used paramilitaries to secure the home when the family were out. Guard dogs, batons, surveillance equipment, absolutely not on in the world that we want to live in today. They're a bank that won't engage with their customers. It's constant threats, get out of your house, pay up within 7 days in full, and no talking or engaging with them. Their affidavits in court are absolutely horrific. Perjury, fraud laid out throughout those documents that they're actually in the High Court record. So we're not going to put up with it anymore. Like, there's a homeless housing and eviction crisis in this country, and having an eviction crisis when there's a homeless crisis also is a poor statement of the society that we are today. 8 people have died on the street in the last 13 weeks, yet the likes of KBC are using military force and violence to evict families from their home, which we're not going to put up with anymore. We will be taking this to KBC Bank in the future and any other banks that we have already deemed to be corrupt in their practices, and we'll be taking it step by step around the country, hoping that other people will join in and do exactly the same thing. We're sick of the threats that they have put on families around the country. Suicides every day of the week because of the threatening that they're sending out. It's just not good enough anymore. KBC, for me, with their practice, they need to be completely and utterly investigated from the top down to the bottom, and their fraudulent activity exposed for the whole country, as they're trying to come on the rise again now, after being brought from the ashes by the taxpayers in Belgium.
Yeah, it's KBC today, but it's every bank every day.
Like Bank of Ireland for me are the worst of all. At Irish Bank, it's the bailout banks that are predominantly on the court list and that are getting people evicted from their homes. So they're all culpable in what is going on. All their practices are poor and fraudulent. None of them are operating any different. They're just dependent on the judiciary, who are the judges in the High Court in Dublin, especially Gilligan and Noonan, and the county registrars all around the country who are not even examining the paperwork that has been put into the courts. It's 100% win for the bank against the defendant in a summary summons that they serve upon you, which you have no defence.
That's the problem with the summary summons, you have no defence, literally.
You have no defence, you're guilty, it's like you're invisible in court. It doesn't matter what you bring up in your own correspondence with the bank or the court. It's completely and utterly ignored. They will play a game out in front of your face just to let on that you're getting some semblance of rough justice. But the question has to be asked, how is there 100% win for the banks in every case? I don't know any barristers who've won cases or solicitors versus the bank in the game that they play inside the court. So you've absolutely no chance. There's nowhere for families to turn to look for help when they look to engage with the bank. They're ignored completely. When they're trying to pay to the best of their ability, they're still put under threat by the court process and threatened with eviction and then finally eviction. But again, all banks, like the Cork eviction last year was Bank of Ireland, where you'll see the police bringing fellas in balaclavas to the house to evict a very vulnerable man. We're a poor society and a poor country if we can't protect our most vulnerable, and again the housing, homeless and eviction crisis is that epidemic, and we're not standing for it anymore, and we will be coming to other banks and corporations around the country and we will be shutting them down like KBC today.
It's good to see Tommy from Corofin here, but isn't the main problem the judicial arm of the state? The best of paperwork has gone in up and down the country in the likes of Noonan, especially lately. has given a few rulings specifically against lay litigants. How do you solve that?
Well, it's clear from Noonan's own paperwork that if it was examined by the so-called professionals in the legal fraternity, that the decisions that he's made, it shows clearly that he doesn't know the law. He's using laws that have been repealed. He doesn't know they've been repealed. He mocks their litigants who are asking legitimate questions that they've spent the last 4 or 5 years trying their best to learn the law and the legalese and the different dog Latin language that they use within their documents. But it's all back to the same thing. Summary summons, you're guilty, you have absolutely no defence, full stop.
But a lot of his rulings lately have been specifically against lay litigants and setting precedent. So where does that leave people heading into the den down the line?
Well, anyone that's gone into the court system at this stage, if you have a 100% loss rate, if you're playing any type of game, you'd give it up. So for me, people need to start boycotting the court en masse. There's a fear out there that needs to be eliminated, and people need to start taking a stand in their own home. Impossible to take a stand in their own home in the manner which they did the eviction down in Cork. Again, using basically mercenaries to protect the perimeter of the family's home. Using dogs as a unit to protect someone's from a young family trying to get back into their house. 5 kids between aged 8 and 14 left out in the street. For me, the research that we've done shows this unit, the very unit, to be from a very sinister background with a lot of ex-detectives from the Garda Síochána, Defence Forces, Navy. Felix McKenna is involved highly in this for me, and questions need to be asked across the board as to who is really behind the security, what the government are doing about this. For me, they're as guilty as the judges. There's blood in their hands, and the executive, Michael D. Higgins, he knows well what's going on with family home evictions also, because we write them on a regular basis and just ignores all the correspondence. With what happened down in Cork, it's an international incident. The Minister for Justice and Equality will be asked questions in the next few days as to how did this happen, how were the Garda Síochána involved in that in a civil matter before they ever executed the order. They were in talks with Trinity Asset Management, the Sheriff, the Court Messenger and the Guards, and that's in an affidavit from Andrew Grower-Keenan who represents KBC. So again, the Guards...
So you have the Gardaí involved with the court services and the Sheriff organising the raid?
Yeah, organising the execution before it happened. So how are the Guards involved in the civil matter at that stage? There has to be huge questions asked about the Guards aiding and abetting. So as I said, mercenaries and military personnel coming down from the north and from England to do a family home eviction. Are all these people security vetted when they're dealing with young children? You have Sinead McNamara, the County Sheriff, gone out there, horrific her attitude and in what she does every day of the week. If you look behind the scenes there, her husband is involved in a group that is supposed to protect children's rights. So what do they talk about over breakfast in the morning? Are you going out to evict 5 children from their family home today? Yeah, I am. Yeah. Oh yeah, but I'll try and pick them up on the radar shortly afterwards.
It's a joke.
It's not cruel at all what you do every day of the week.
Outrageous, isn't it? Outrageous.
It's unbelievable what's going on in the country, but unless ordinary people start standing up, if you look at the average age here today, it's probably mid-50s or so. You'd have to ask the question why people who have never been in trouble before are willing to stand up against the likes of KBC and the Sheriff's Office shortly, and unless people all around the country start standing up against the corruption that's going on, and that Dáil, Crown Oireachtas, TDs turning a blind eye to family home evictions because most of them are landlords. The system is absolutely broken to the last, and only people are going to change what's going to happen.
Or is the system working grand the way it's supposed to work? With everyone That's why you hear all the fluff pre-election, and next thing after it then they have a duty to the state and everything changes.
Well, the system is working perfect for the corporations who've made all the rules here, whether they're the rules of the court or protecting the banks and the corporations, tax avoidance as we've showed here again with KBC. Every hand and turn, anyone who has a bunch of initials behind their name has not come to our side of the fence yet to challenge the system. So you'd have to wonder, why is that? No TD is willing to help us, no barrister is willing to help us, no solicitor is willing to help us. So they know where their nest is feathered. They're a member of a big club, a boys' club on the whole, the bar, and the government then are being controlled by the same corporations, and are aiding and abetting the evictions in the fact that the banks were bailed out by the people, and them same people now are being evicted from their homes.
As Richard Boy Barra said in the Dáil, you have the secret societies of the benchers in the King's Inn controlling the whole judicial system, and nobody even knows.
Yeah, well, Boyd Barrett was right in what he said, but like the left are in absolute shambles. There's none of them coming in to help us. I never see any of people for profit, AAA, or any of these left. Even independent TDs are ignoring what we're asking.
Controlled opposition, maybe?
Totally and utterly controlled opposition. You know, the corporations have money to burn, they create the money, so they can fund everything quite easily, and you know, they know that our resources are limited, so it's hard to take on that system. But the only thing that will take on the system is people saying that enough is enough, we're not putting up with family home evictions anymore, and if the banks are going to continue with their corrupt practices, we'll be onto them banks as often as we possibly can, and you know, they need to be investigated, and the ones that have been corrupt, they need to be shut down, and that goes all the way up to Bank of Ireland operating on Royal Shark.